Good morning on a very wet and rainy day just outside Tucson, Arizona. We've decided to come inside to the PIMA Air and Space Museum. We're going to spend a few hours wandering through there. It's got some really cool things in here. It's got A-10, SR-71, and it's got the, over there, the F14 that was used in Top Gun. So, pretty stoked today. So I'm just going to have a walk around and yabber on, be a bit of an aerosexual, and this one's for my cousin David. Hey, how good's that? Nice. Oh, it's got loads of markings on it, Dave. That's bloody brilliant. They've got some wonderful exhibits here. They have a Sabre hanging from the roof, which is the first metal aeroplane that I ever got to touch when I was a boy. There's an A-10 over there and all sorts of goodies, so I'm pretty frothing. So you may or may not be familiar with this little beastie. This is an F14 Tomcat, and this is the actual aeroplane that was used in the original Top Gun, second one coming out in June. We can't wait for that. And I must do this. I look like a dag in front of 100 people in here. This is from my mate Gary Sinclair. What do we need, Gary? I feel the need for speed.
You are a dag.
I am a dag.
But we're 45 minutes from start to finish, and again, 160 or so airplanes outside, so I can't cover them all in 45 minutes. I am going to highlight the ones that I think you came out to see. So a lot of the fighters and bombers and trainers and tankers and presidential aircraft and all that stuff I'm going to cover on the tour. A lap around our 80-acre yard here and hope that Mother Nature is kind to us. But we're going to take a look at about half of our museum's collection of aircraft. Here at the PIMA Air and Space Museum, we've got half our airplanes outside and the other half inside in the 5 hangars located here on the property. You came out of hangar number 1, that's our Spirit of Freedom hangar. We have everything in that main hangar from Orville and Wilbur's Wright Flyer, right at the front door there, all the way up to an SR-71 Blackbird, which is kind of over by the gift shop if you haven't seen it in there yet. And pretty much a good collection of everything in between. So if we do get forced inside, have no fear. There's a lot of aircraft to see inside. In front of us are hangars 3, 4, and 5, and those are probably where some of our nicest, like World War II era aircraft are all located. We've got a B-24 out there, a B-25. There is actually a B-29 Super Fortress out in hangar number 4. Regular fixed-wing favorite, the F4U Corsair, located out in hangar 4. Right next to a P-51 Mustang that has a pretty good story that goes along with it there. That P-51 that's out there, if you take a look and read the board that's in front of it, you know how back in during the war when you shoot down an enemy plane, you get to put a sticker of their flag on the side of your plane? So if you take a look at that P-51 that's out in hangar number 4, you will notice that it has 7 German swastikas on it. It's got 4 Japan Rising Sun flags on it. It's got 1 Italian flag on it, and it has 1 American flag on it. This P-51 pilot that aircraft is dedicated to actually shot down an American aircraft with that P-51, and he got a medal for it. Now that's all of that story that I'm going to give you. You got to go out to hangar 4 to get the rest of it. Out here at the museum on Thursdays is because the docent that's over there on Thursdays showing off that plane was one of the pilots. His name is Colonel Richard Bouchon. He is now 97, and you will never guess it by talking to him. He flew 30 bombing missions out of northeast England and into the heart of Nazi-occupied Europe 75 years ago, and he is here today to share those stories with you.
That's my first Blackbird. I have an A10. It's the third largest air museum in America.
Did fly for the RAF, but they flew it out of India. And that's why on the other side is markings of the Indian Air Force. Because when India became an independent country, this became part of the Indian Air Force.
Oh, wow.
In the 60s, it got too old for them, and the word came out that they were giving away P-24s. And so PIMA Air Space Museum said, we're interested, and they said, well, come and get it.
For all you people that know me, you'll recognize that silhouette behind me. Pretty cool. So that behind me is an F111E. I used to work on the F111Cs back in the day when I was a young shaver. So that's just really nice for me. I spent 9 years fixing that thing. So a lot of my mates hopefully will be watching that. There's another aeroplane that a bunch of people near and dear to me I know. There's a Tornado from all those guys that used to work with me with BA Systems in the Middle East. You'll recognise that. It's a fantastic morning out. I don't think we'll get all of it done today, but my head's spinning. There's just so much here. If you're an aviation buff and you're into a bit of a walk around, or it's one of those rainy days and you want to spend a bit of time inside, it's we like it. You don't have to be an aeroplane aficionado. Leanne isn't, but look at the smile on her face. She's having a huge day.
Full of holes, he could see that. So he got on his bike and he rode as far as he could. Combat missions, all of them were destroyed after I flew them. 2 of them, I got out after a mission, and the next mission they were shot down. So I was extremely lucky. Would anybody like for me to go downtown and buy a lottery ticket? Now, next week I will have my 97th birthday. It was 76 years ago that I was doing this stuff. And what keeps me young is I have a younger girlfriend. She's 92. And we're going to get married in 2025. And I'd like to invite all of you to the wedding. I was the chief of maintenance at Nellis when we got the first 111s delivered to the Air Force, and we had Australians there. We were training Australian maintenance crews and flight crews on the airplane. These 2 guys were maintenance officers, and they were assigned to me. So
That's wonderful.
I treated them just like Air Force officers, or U.S. Air Force.
Well, I had 9 years on the F-111s in the Royal Australian Air Force, and we retired ours in 2010. And hear your stories today is just fabulous.
Well, we put ours to bed over here in the boneyard, and then we were taking parts off of them to keep your airplanes flying down there, because you used them a little longer than we did. But my last base, I was chief of maintenance there, and we had 50 F-111s there. That was at Clovis Canada Air Force Base in Clovis.
Okay.
Oh, I got to tell you, these two Australian officers that were assigned to me, they needed to buy a car, because they were going to be there for a while. And so I had them both in my car. We're headed downtown to the automobile road in Las Vegas. And I said, oh, there goes a Roadrunner. This little Roadrunner ran across the road. One of them said, where? And I said, right there. He said, that little bird? We thought it was about that big,
Because
all they
the
had seen
cartoon.
was the cartoon.
The thing about travel that we love is things just happen. For no other reason than you take a left turn other than a right turn. And for all those people that travel, you'll know what I'm talking about. Today we had the option of going up a canyon, over to the park, over to another park, or we'll come to the museum. We decided to come to the museum, and today is Thursday. So there's a gentleman sat down in front of this B17. He started flying when he was 21. He stopped flying when he was 47. He's flown about 40 different aircraft types, and he is one of the reasons that our world is the way our world is today. He flew 30 odd missions in the B17s. Just about every aeroplane that he stepped off, handed over to another crew, well, that aeroplane didn't come back. He's 97 years old. He is remarkable. He is lucid. His stories are unbelievable. He's got a wicked sense of humour. And I'm just so privileged to just step off a bus, walk into a beautiful facility. If you're in Tucson, you must come and see this. This is very important. This guy is an absolute legend. He's entertaining these guys. Within the outside the window of opportunity to get our things and do the David I just probably grab cherry pick some of the best aeroplanes out there that I remember style and aeroplanes I'm familiar with in my service life.
Well, what I'm doing is funny people do that. That's not ridiculous. No, yeah, I know what you mean. I have a hard time too.
Have any more questions?
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. No, it's wonderful. There's another. Oh, you got another Cobra over there.
Yeah, that's the King Cobra.
Shot down.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's called the scorecard.
Yes.
Okay. So if you'll notice, he's got 7 German, and that funny thing there in the middle with the, I call them butter knives.
Yep.
That's Italian. And then, of course, the Japanese. There was only 3 pilots in World War II that ever did that, shot down a German, an Italian, and a Japanese aircraft.
Continuing our tour, we're in another hangar. There's a B-29, there's an Aerocobra, I think it's a Super Cobra. There's a P-51 Mustang, and there's a fantastic story. It has on the side of it, you know, you just put the markings on the side. When they shot down, it's got 4, 5, 6, 7 Nazi symbols, 1 Italian, 1 Japanese, and 1 American. And as the guy said, this guy was an ace, shot down, captured, interned in an Italian-run POW camp. They gave up. He went back to the States. He said, I ain't done yet. So he went back to the Pacific Theater, shot down a Japanese one. And the reason he's got the American flag was him and his wingman were in a fight. They got attacked. So him and his wingman were attacked. His wingman got shot down. He protected him for as long as he can. He could see that there was an American transport aeroplane that was going to land on this Japanese-occupied island. Couldn't communicate with the pilot. The radios must have been damaged in the fighting. So what he did is he shot out both engines, crashed that aeroplane, went home, got a PBY, a flying boat, Catalina. They came out. There were some nurses and some aircrew, and they rescued them all, sent them home. He got a DFC for his actions in the Europe theatre. He didn't get a medal for shooting down the American plane because that would look odd, wouldn't it now? But this hangar is absolutely full of all the aeroplanes. Oh, look at this. Awesome Sabre. So the first medal aeroplane that I got to touch when I was a kid in training way back when was the Australian version of the Sabre. I like that one because it's got my ma's name on it, and there's one thing about my ma, whose name is Joyce, is that she is Joyce and she sees the world through absolutely fantastic vision glasses where everything is wonderful, and I think it's beautiful. Love you, Mum. They bombed our chippy.